Hello, and thanks for joining us over here at HOA, aka Huckleberry's Outdoor Adventures. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and what it's really got to offer. So, I was talking to someone last night in one of the group chats on an Overlanding Starting Your Journey group chat on Facebook, and it kind of occurred to me that people don't really know what Michigan has to offer, and a lot of the times when you say overlanding, you think of the West. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the attractions, what's here. Other than crazy amounts of national forest and stuff like that, you have an absolute just crap ton of trails that you can go down, all pretty much state forest. A large variety of it is. You have the typical attractions, which I'll get into. Your typical attractions are going to be Picture the Rocks, Mackinaw Island, Tahquamenon Falls State Park, the Sulaks, Kitch-iti-kipi, Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum, Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park, and then, like Marquette, Fayette, and Royale. And I'll talk about those a little bit, and then I'll kind of list some of the more notable places, just in case you want to throw them on the map, tag them, save them for another time. So, starting with Pictured Rocks. Pictured Rocks, the National Lakeshore, is in Munising, kind of Grand Marais area. This is a national lakeshore, and it's renowned for its stunning multicolored sandstone cliff. It's got archways, really cool, unique rock formations, and they're massive on the side of Lake Superior. They're formed over 1,000 or more years by erosion, mineral staining, and the vibrant hues of red, orange, green, and brown. They are just gorgeous. You can actually take boat tours, you can kayak or hike along the trail. And it's something that if you go to Michigan, it's probably one of the top things that you should do if you like seeing that kind of sights. Mackinaw Island, which is kind of, if you look at the bridge, it's on the right side of the bridge. So it's kind of in between the Upper Peninsula and the Lower Peninsula. And it's a super unique place to go to. It's a historic car-free island. It's in right there in Huron, and it's only accessible by the ferry. So they have a bunch of ferries that go, jet boat ferries and stuff like that, which are pretty cool. And then when you step on the island, it's cool. It's like stepping back in time. There's horse-drawn carriages, bicycles. Your walking is pretty much what you're doing most of the day. So if you don't like to walk, I wouldn't do it, but it's famous for it's got grand Victorian architecture. There's the iconic Grand Hotel, which is famous for a couple of different reasons. You have Arch Rock, and then the bustling downtown, which is known for one of the most popular things in Michigan food-wise, which is the fudge shops. Mackinaw Island fudge is one of the most common dessert, I guess, foods in Michigan. Saltwater taffy, oddly enough, is another one. But it's Mackinaw Island fudge is the boom. So Mackinaw Island is really cool. The gift shops, the views. It's very much a touristy destination, though. So if you don't like that kind of thing, overcrowded, it's usually going to be overcrowded, then might not be your cup of tea, but look it up, see what you think. The next one, which is another just massive one in the UP, is Tahquamenon Falls. It's one of the biggest falls east of the Mississippi River, and it's got this amber-colored water. It's really, really beautiful, which is actually, fun fact, the amber-colored water is actually stained from the tannins in the surrounding cedar swamps. So that's how it gets its color. It has a upper and a lower falls. And there's like a series of drops and rapids where you can rent like rowboats and kind of get closer to it. And it's got a really nice hiking area. There's like a 4.5 mile hike from the lower to the upper falls, which I think is still rated hard. I did that one, and it was pretty tough. And we were kind of in a rush because it was towards the end of the day. So, and they do offer a shuttle, at least at the time of me saying this. They offer a shuttle, so after you get done with the the hike from the lower to the upper, you don't have to walk back. They'll actually shuttle you back down to your car at the lower. So it's a absolutely beautiful place. They have a restaurant, I think, up there by the upper falls, gift shops, all the stuff that is there for you. And so let's move along. This is a little more east, not by much, but. You're looking at Sioux Locks. So Sioux Locks is like the only locks we have around us, and it's in Sault Ste. Marie. It's when you talk to people that really like the locks, it's the incredible engineering marvel. It's super cool. I mean, when you look at it, it's like, oh, that's. I mean, it's cool. But a lot of people really like seeing it. You can actually get to see freighters come up close. They pull into the lock, and then that changes the water height. So Superior to like Huron are going to be like different heights on the water. So it'll change the heights. It'll add more water in to make the freighter go up, and then it'll let the freighter go. It's really cool. It's a cool way to see them. I think they're like raised like 20 feet or something like that. So it's really cool. You can watch them. You're right next to them. I've seen it so many times now that I'm kind of desensitized, and it's kind of like I just skip Sault Ste. Marie altogether now. Once you see it, for me, like once I saw that, I was like, okay, that was cool. But it's one of those like one-time things for me. Moving on down, you do have Kitch-iti-kipi. I mentioned that earlier, and that's, as far as I understand, as far as Michiganders say it, Kitch-iti-kipi, which is in Palmsbook State Park in Manistique. It's also known as the Big Spring. It's Michigan's largest natural freshwater spring. I don't know if you ever go there, you'll see it and you'll kind of understand. You can look up pictures on Google. The water is like emerald, like clear green. It's really cool. It looks like you could see all the way down. Like it's a deep spring, but it looks like it's only a couple feet down, and you can see like these massive tree trunks and massive fish down there just swimming around. So it's absolutely gorgeous. And then there's like a little ferry that you can take across the spring and see all that. So it's really cool. Moving up to the Whitefish Point area of the UP, you have the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum. That's located in, like I said, the Whitefish Point. And it kind of covers Lake Superior's shipwreck coast. It's dedicated to the perilous maritime history in the Great Lakes. And it features exhibits on numerous shipwrecks, artifacts, and tells the somber stories of lost vessels and crews. It's most notably housed the recovered bell from the ill-fated Edmund Fitzgerald, which also includes the oldest active lighthouse on Lake Superior. So it's a really cool spot. The museum's a little pricey, but it's a pretty big museum. There's a lot of artifacts in there. I've been there 3 or 4 times. They have a gift shop. I would say one time is perfect. When you go there the one time, spend the day there. It's really cool to see. The bell is super cool. They have like an old lighthouse bulb in there. It's lit up very, very nice. It's a beautiful museum. Definitely a one-timer. And then you have, and I'm going all over the UP. This is like a list I've compiled of like top 10 and then top attractions, stuff like that. So You have the Porcupine Mountains. That would be the western part of the UP, probably the most west almost. And that is in Ontonagon, is how you say it, or Silver City. It's Michigan's largest state park. It's affectionately known as the Porkies. There's about 60,000 acres of old-growth forest. There's rugged terrain, stunning overlooks, and it's most famously known for what's called the Lake in the Clouds. It's got this big giant lake that's kind of like nestled in the mountain and has this beautiful lookout up there. So Lake of the Clouds, like to Michiganders, people who travel or tourists around Michigan, Lake of the Clouds is like one of the top views to go and see. Let's see. We got Marquette. Marquette is just, nothing crazy special. Marquette is just a beautiful little city. It's the largest city in Upper Peninsula, Michigan. And it's got like a ton of like these old houses and old buildings made from like this reddish granite type rock that they get up there. So it's just really, really beautiful to see all that. Old Town is just gorgeous. And then you have like the black rocks around there, scenic drives, Sugarloaf Mountain the hiking up here is top notch. Like it's just gorgeous hiking. We have Fayette, which is, I believe, the lower UP, towards the bottom. It's a historic state park and town site. It's nestled on the scenic Garden Peninsula of Lake Michigan. So yeah, it's the south end. And it's a remarkably preserved 19th century iron smelting town. It was once a bustling industrial community between 1867 and 1891. People can now walk through the restored buildings. There's like furnaces, workshops, and homes. You can gain insights to the lives of the workers, do that whole, it's an old ghost town basically. And then of course you do have, one of the most famous hiking places in Michigan is Isle Royale. It's a national park island basically. It's an archipelago? Yeah, something like that. In Lake Superior. It's designated wilderness area, only accessible by ferry or seaplane, and it's a paradise for those serious hikers and backpackers. Like I said, it's gorgeous, and it's got a super, super unique ecosystem. It's got wolf and moose in there, which are in the UP and in Michigan, but not quite as prevalent and not quite as wild. It's a very untouched area, if you know what I'm saying. So it's pretty cool. Those are kind of like the top 10, and then you have like the waterfalls, things like that. The Mackinaw Bridge obviously is one of them. It's known as the Mighty Mac. It's like one of the biggest suspension bridges around. And then you have so I'll go through and do some of the more popular waterfalls. And you can kind of pause and go back if you want to listen, or like mark them down. But you have like Bond Falls, it's in Paulding. You have Munising Falls, which is in Munising. You also have Miners Falls in Munising, which there's like a miner's castle over there. So we do those two together. There's Spray Falls, which is on the actual Pictured Rocks lakeshore, so you probably only see that one from the kayaks. You also have Chapel Falls, which is on the lakeshore, but that one's only accessible through the Chapel Loop hike, if I remember, or by boat, because it's right on the shore. You have the Laughing Whitefish Falls State Park, and that's in Sundell, and that's like a multi-tiered waterfall. You have Canyon Falls in Lance. It's often recalled as the Grand Canyon of the UP. It's nowhere near the size of Grand Canyon, not at all, but maybe if you were to much smaller scale it. But Canyon Falls is absolutely gorgeous. I would definitely recommend going there and checking that out. And then you have like Agate Falls, Sable Falls. There's a ton. Dead River Falls and Marquette. I mean, they're all over the UP. And then if, a lot of the times, like when I used to go, it was waterfalls and lighthouses. Those were the two things to see when we went out there. That was like the fun, cool stuff to do. So in lighthouses, you have like the Whitefish Point Lighthouse. It's the oldest active lighthouse in Lake Superior. You have the Marquette Harbor Lighthouse. You have Point Betsy Lighthouse in Frankfurt. It's technically in the lower peninsula, but it's often like a stop. So I kind of included that in there. And then you have like one of my favorites, which is Crisp Point Lighthouse. Crisp as in like crispy bacon. That's in Newberry. It's one of the easier ones to get to. You can climb up to the top of it. And then the lakeshore is actually just like covered in rock. And it's, oh God, if you're a rock hound, man, you could spend hours down there and just find the coolest crap. We got Copper Harbor Lake House on the Tahquamenon Peninsula. You have Eagle Harbor Lighthouse, which is also on the Keweenaw. Let's see. You have the Great Island East Channel. It's in Munising. You could see that from like the boat tours from Pictured Rocks. So that's kind of cool. It's like really old. Like it looks almost like cedarwood, I think. And then one of the other things, Michigan's known for is the mining, right? So you have shipwrecks, you have the mining, you have the logging, and so mining was a really, really big things in there in Michigan. If you didn't know, we have a whole harbor named after it called Copper Harbor. There's a reason why, but there's a couple of old mines and stuff you can check out in Michigan. One of the most famous being Quincy Mine. That's got underground tours and then like insights into the copper mining history. There is a Keweenaw National Historical Park where you can look at copper mining heritage there. And then they have a couple of like history museums and mineral museums. Like there's a AE Seaman Mineral Museum in Houghton. And then like kind of like I was mentioning before, if you like hiking and stuff, there's tons of like parks, outdoor recreation, stuff like that. You have, I'm gonna run this list down. You got Presque Isle Park. You have Seney National Wildlife Refuge. You have Straight State Park in St. Ignace. Fort Wilkins Hysterical. God, I've been doing this too long. Historical Park, Laughing Whitefish, Craig Lake, Indian Lake, Van Riper. There's, absolute ton. So pick your poison. They're all over. Look at them all. Mount Arvon, Hogback Mountain, Canyon River Gorge, which is beautiful. And then we move on to the unique attractions. So you have all the common ones, but there's some unique ones too that you don't know unless you're kind of looking for them or unless you drive by and see them. And one of them in Newberry is Oswald's Bear Ranch. It's a sanctuary for rescued black bears. Picture like a zoo, but only black bears. Really, really cool. You can get really, really close to them. They used to have a petting area for baby bears that you could pet. So that's super cool. You have the Garland Zoo. It's in Nobbinway, and it's a family-friendly zoo with native and exotic animals there. You have one of the must-stop things, like, if you go to the UP, you have to go and do the Upers Tourist Trap and Museum. That's in Ishpeming. It's this quirky little roadside like shop. It's got a bunch of humorous like knickknacks and stuff like that. Just a funny little knickknack shop. It's great. It's the Mystery Spot in St. Ignace. That's one of those roadside attractions. It's super cool. Like they mess with your mind a little bit with the roadside shop, but it's super cool. Oh, let's see. Oh, you have one of my favorite museums in Michigan is actually just over the bridge, and it's actually the Museum of Ojibwe culture. It's a Native American museum, and again, like it says in there, it's about the Ojibwe. Talks about where they traveled. It's got a bunch of artifacts about like the Native American clothing and like how they made porcupine needle baskets and stuff like that. And then they have like really, really cool handmade like wallets and purses. That it's not like the cool like leather ones that you see on like Etsy, but they're like really good quality. I actually bought one for my wife and then came back 2 years later and bought another one for her because her old one was starting to the leather was just starting to wear because she had used it every single day because she loved it so much. So yeah, they have a bunch of cool stuff there, and it's really, really informative. It talks about all the different paths they took through there. Really cool. Let's see. We talked about Grand Hotel. One of the so there are two main things that you have to try when you're in Michigan / the UP. One of them's the Mackinaw Island fudge. Give it a try. It's not even my favorite, but it's good. And then you have pasties. Pasties are so good. So pasties, pastries, whatever you want to say. It's a very tomato type thing, and you'll whatever. So what it is basically for you guys who can't see, if you can Google what it looks like, but it's basically a pot pie without a pot. It's like got everything like a typical pot pie would have in it. Little drier because you have to keep it in the pastry. But yeah, it's a pot pie without a pot. And it's got the nice flaky crust on the outside. And it's a handheld pastry. So think of like a large empanada style thing. And actually it's Cornish. And when Cornish miners immigrated in the 1840s, it can be dated all the way back to 1150 in England. The pasty gained popularity with miners because it was so easy to bring into the mines, and it kept them full throughout the long work days. It would stay warm up to 10 hours. If the pasty did become cold, miners could easily heat them up by placing it on a shovel and warming it up over a heat lamp candle. The pasty once started a mining fire when a miner forgot about his pasty warming and the lard caught fire. That's crazy work. The crust of the pasties were often initialed, so the workers would know which pasty belonged to them. The cook could customize each one based on the miner's preferences. So miners would leave the crust on for the mine ghosts and goblins, which is perfect. But another reason why they left the crust and why the crust is basically the handle of a pasty is because a lot of the times they were working with a bunch of different like chemical and natural poisonous material in there, like arsenic. So they would get a ton of arsenic dust all over their hands. And when they would eat food, they would also consume that arsenic because it's on their hands. So what they ended up doing was they would eat the pasty, and the little handle, which is the crust, they would actually throw that away to the, air quotations, mine ghosts and goblins, which kind of saved a lot of workers because they were going to be consuming arsenic by doing that, like the arsenic dusts and stuff. So that's actually, true. So once mining ended, it kind of lived on through the Finns and Italians, and when the Mackinaw Bridge opened in 1957, allowing the tourism in the UP, pasties kind of got sold in restaurants. Governor George Romney made May 24th statewide National Pasty Day, and in 1968, it was... what was it? It was to celebrate the bridge. So yeah, super cool. Basically what's in it, it'll definitely depend, but it'll have like sliced vegetables, Cornish like food like meats and potatoes, carrots, any like super hearty stuff that you could that would keep you full, right? So, yeah. So that, I mean, cool stuff. Pasties are really really good, and the one that I have been to is one of the most famous in Michigan, called Muldoon's, Muldoons. It's in Munising. It's super good, and they come with like a chicken or a beef gravy, and I got mine with beef gravy. Oh my God, it was so good, especially because we overland and stuff, so we had been eating camp food and then just stopping there to get that nice hot pasty and like that really nice like beef gravy. Oh, it was freaking heaven. So, moving on from the crazy pasty life, there are local brews and pubs. I'm not big on those, so I'm not going to really name much, but there are a ton of really fancy, cool-looking brews and pubs around Michigan. That's like a big thing here, so... Yeah, and then you have, for hiking, the most famous hiking in Michigan, you have like the North Country National Scenic Trail, which is right, I think it's either horizontal or right up there on the lake, but Empire Bluff Trail, which is by the Sleeping Dunes, that's actually in the Lower Peninsula, but that's one of the more famous ones, so I included it. It's Upper Lower Peninsula, which is why I'm including these. Then you have like the Iron Ore Heritage Trail in Marquette. You have the Bill Nichols Trail, which is actually a multi-use trail for like UTVs and stuff like that, and trucks, which we're going to be doing like from Lance area. Well, I guess it would be a little bit more east. I would say Marquette area to the west, and we're going to be taking pretty much all trails that we can take as little road as possible to get all the way up to Copper Harbor. So it's going to be really, really cool. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of share all this stuff. I know it doesn't like do it justice. I don't know, talking about it, like maybe you don't know, but this could be like an informative thing for you to like go back on and be like, okay, this is what I need to see. This is what I need to see. These are really cool places. They're super famous, and Michigan is absolutely gorgeous. It really is. I mean, it doesn't have the Grand Canyon or the big cliffs and, maybe not the beautiful Yellowstone or the redwoods, but it's got its own unique. Like every area has its own unique beauty, and that's part of the joy of overlanding and adventuring is finding that unique beauty in each area. So come to Michigan, get a hold of me, ask me, I'm going to this spot. Can you tell me some of these, the best areas I could go, the best waterfalls, the best whatever, and talk to me. Well, I'd be more than happy to talk back and answer and give you all the information you need. So with that in mind, that's my 30 minutes. I'm going to get this edited and uploaded, and I will see you guys later.